2, 1. Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold, Guaranteed Realty. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Colorado's Real Estate Authority, Barb Schlinker. Barb is a retired Navy veteran. Barb Schlinker is an author. Barb's also a pilot, and Barb and her team enjoy all that Colorado Springs and Colorado and the Front Range. Okay. And Barb and her team enjoy all that Colorado and the Front Range have to offer. Barb, always great to be talking with you. Now, we air Your Real Estate Voice every Saturday, and if you can't listen to the entire show, it is always available on Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com, or just search Barb on most of the popular podcast platforms, iHeartRadio, Spotify, etc. Every week, Your Real Estate Voice covers great information about the housing market and one of your largest assets, your home. Barb, what are we going to be covering today?
Well, Richard, I'm pretty excited about this show because we're going to talk about some things that are really, really important if you are planning to make a move anytime soon. What we're seeing all of a sudden is like the housing prices are kind of dropping like an elevator, especially in the Colorado Springs area. I don't know why. The rates did go up a good half a percentage point. Some of it could be seasonality, but we're going to really deep dive into what that means now and what it means into the future. We're also going to discuss in the next topic the 12 steps in the home selling process and the whole timeline involved with it, because people don't do this every day. They get a little overwhelmed at the whole process. You don't live in the home that you're selling the same way that you would when you have it on the market. So we'll go into the steps about that. And also the next topic's really important is pricing the home correctly. Now, there is a price point for every home, right? So knowing how to price a home to get buyers is absolutely critical. And we'll deep dive into that. And then the very last topic is what a lot of people are facing right now is what we call a real estate dilemma, where they want to buy their next house, but they have a house to sell. And as always, I'm going to be covering our hot new listings. Richard?
Barb, all of the reports indicate the Fed continues to raise interest rates. In the past couple of weeks, mortgage rates have rose for no apparent reason. Where do you think the housing market is headed right now?
Well, Richard, the Fed has been very consistent in saying he plans to keep raising interest rates until he gets that inflation down to 2%. He was successful. He got it down to 3%, but it's still not affecting the housing market that much. And it's more having to do with a couple of things. Housing demand, meaning there's more population trying to get housing, and there are fewer people that can make a move because the rates are going up. A lot of these people are sitting on 2-3% mortgages. So if they have to move to another home, their payment could almost double if they're paying more for the home. So it really is important, and people are thinking twice about putting their homes on the market right now. And I pulled up some data. The thing that's really interesting is even though the inventory is on the low side and there is more population vying for housing, the data in the Colorado Springs area is kind of surprising. We've seen just in the last week or two, kind of a sudden drop in the median price. And the sellers that are pricing their home right are making it go. This could be seasonal. Just so you know, typically if you look at the availability of homes from January through December, it almost looks like a bell curve in this market. The inventory is low in the winter and the spring, and then it peaks out in the summer and drops off in the fall, winter again. So that's one factor. The main buying season pretty much starts in the spring and runs all the way through the summer, but the summer's soon to be over. So here we go. We're going to see a little bit less interest in buying homes right now, especially with the rates going up. And even the Fed is saying, hey, we're going to keep raising rates until I get what I want. So all of the financial planners are out there saying, yep, expect it to go up to as high as 8%. So that absolutely affects, especially the first-time home buyer in terms of payment. It could be $400 or $500 a month more. But the younger generation, which is the majority of the buying population right now, they've never seen rates like this before. I have, because I'm not that young, but I can tell you that back when I bought my first home in the 80s, and a lot of people remember this, the rates were really high, 11, 12%. So I had to get some creative financing, an adjustable rate to make that payment work. And so what they did was they fixed the rate for 1 year, then a little bit higher next year and a little bit higher the third year. That's called an adjustable rate. And that was how I was able to get into home and make it affordable. But we're seeing a different story from some of the really, really popular and very accurate predictors of both the stock market and the real estate market. So I read an article this morning that says it from Stansberry Research, where they said they really don't believe the housing market will crash. And the reason is low inventory. If you look back over time from 2002 to now, our inventory is the lowest it's ever been. The other thing that we're looking at is another chart where the blue line shows the volume of owner-occupied homes going way higher versus the inventory dropping low. So when you see that, where you've got more demand for homes and fewer homes to choose from, the only natural conclusion would be that the prices are likely to continue to go up over time. I did some other research, looked at some other people as well, but one of the things that Stansberry said is look at the population. Since 1999, the population has grown 22% in the US from 279 million to 340 million. And so the only possible income for home values is they are over time going to rise. But right now, the season is a little off. We're seeing the rates are a little bit higher, so that takes some people out of being able to afford a mortgage. Fewer buyers are out there. So we're seeing all kinds of creative stuff go on, like lenders are offering interest rate buy downs. Sellers are offering interest rate buy downs to get the rate lower. Builders are offering incentives, like 4% incentives, which could also include, buying down your interest rate. And I even saw a program this morning that Zillow's coming out with a 1% down home buying program where they pay 2% at closing and not the borrowers. So that means more borrowers have the cash to get into a home as long as they can handle the payment. Zillow predicts that home prices could rise, but maybe at a slower pace. U.S. News and World Report predicts that the housing market might have a shallow recession this year, but it stops and starts this year. So if you are planning to move next year, don't panic. You didn't miss the prime market. It's going to be okay. And 43% of those home buyers are the younger generation from 25 to 51. And so, yes, they're having trouble with affordability, but they're going to find a way to do it. So don't worry about it. We could see some seasonal type correction going on. And in some cases, sellers may have to lower their prices to get a buyer if they're planning to move right now, especially if their house has problems, like if their home has an issue, a location issue, or a condition issue, if the home is very, very unique, or if it needs work. All those things are going to create problems. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And I'm also the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about how this rise in interest rates could definitely cause home prices to drop, but probably temporarily. And next up, we're going to talk about what home sellers should expect to see and what they need to do in this market right now. And if you are thinking of making a move, we help people buy and sell homes all the time, even in a shifting market. So give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. We have over 27,441 buyers in waiting looking for homes right now. Typically, I can match about 100 buyers to that home. So give us a call again, 719-301-3900. Or if you're not quite ready to sell, we have all these great free reports on barbhasthebuyers.com. And one of the popular ones that we have on there is how to avoid getting stuck with two homes that we're going to talk about at the end of this session. Richard?
Barb, we're discussing the Fed's recent increase on the Fed borrowing. Barb, we're discussing the Fed's recent increase on the Fed borrowing rate and whether or not it has an effect on the housing market. What should home sellers expect and do in this market situation?
Well, Richard, what we're seeing right now is bidding wars are very, very rare, much more than they were even just a few months ago. Days on market are rising, and buyers definitely are getting pickier than ever. So preparation absolutely is key. And so what home sellers need to do, and I see this all the time where home sellers will say, well, I want to make this much money because I spent this much money, or my tankless water heater is more valuable, or people should pay more because I have a pretty whatever. Okay. It doesn't work. If buyers are finding a better deal elsewhere, then they're going to go find it and they're not going to want to come see your home. So preparation number one, pricing it right to get all the buyers in the population vying for your home. And you want to make sure you hire the agent that's an expert in helping you do all three things: pricing, preparation, and promotion. And, very few buyers really want to buy a home that needs work. We've tried it. It just doesn't work unless we've cratered the price crazy low. And fewer buyers now are qualifying for a mortgage. So it's absolutely critical that you position the home to get top dollar. And that means pricing it right. We know that 88% of the homes are eliminated based on the online presentation. So the agent has to market it right. It's funny, Richard. I have a lot of people call me and go, my house isn't selling. What do I do? I swear I'm becoming Dr. Laura for real estate. I know that sounds crazy. I'm probably not allowed to say it, but they'll call me and go, what do I do? And I'll take a look at their home. And one couple I talked to last week, they thought the pictures were good, but when I looked at them, they were awful. And in fact, since that time, they had improved the property, but the agent didn't come back and retake the pictures. The agent didn't highlight the best reason for going there. And that's why it was sitting on the market. So I love helping people do that. And I know that's an issue right now. So if you guys need some help, give us a call at 719-301-3900, because you don't want to be eliminated based on the online presentation. Most of the buyers start online. They just swipe by with their phone. And if they don't like what they see, they're not coming out to see it. It doesn't matter what the price is. You need to hire an agent that really knows how to prevent that online home elimination. And that's what we do. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. She's the host of the program. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about the top 12 steps in the house selling process timeline. Stay tuned for that. I lost my, I was panicking because whatever. I lost my clock early on.
We're good. It's okay.
I just, while we were talking, I'm like, oh, I got to bring up a clock. So I did. I found one on my computer.
Well, you should have like a little, have all of your graphics artists who do such a wonderful job, do like a thought bubble that pops up over your head whenever that happens. They'll love that. It's like, tell them to mind its own damn business. Barb has us doing enough. Actually, I was thinking that for my show, people would not want to see what was in my thought bubble most of the time.
Oh, no. So next week, I think, just because I'm on vacation, I think I'm just going to play this again. Do you think that's okay?
I think so. I don't, unless you imagine some big drastic. I mean, that's why on the first thing, I made it a little bit more general than saying this past week. I said past couple of weeks or whatever.
Right. I just think.
And all of our records are showing that's what you had requested. So
Yeah, I think that's the best way to handle it because I'll be on the road. I don't know if I'll have good internet. Could be all kinds of problems. So
keep it simple.
yeah, they'll forgive me.
Okay. Let's see. I'm ready to go again.
Ready.
And this time I have a clock that will hopefully stay with me the entire time. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the host of the program. And this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb, the market has certainly changed in the last 12 months, causing some people to wonder if their houses will sell quickly and at a good price. Now, during the pre-show, you shared that you created a series of videos about the top 12 steps to sell a house. Tell us about that.
Well, Richard, people don't sell homes very often. It is one of those things that is not that simple in that, first of all, you've got this monster project of moving. Do I move first? Do I show the home while I'm living there? And then once I accept a contract, how much time do I have to get out? So it's a rather intense process to make that happen. And we try to make the process as easy as possible for you. Hey guys, I'm going to pause here just for a second.
Yep.
I made a mistake. And hey, Griff, I closed out segment 2. I don't know what I did here. Can you bring it up? I'm thinking, not paying attention to it. It's fixed. Mayday, mayday, mayday.
Give me a moment, Barb, about the segment 2.
Oh, okay. Sorry. There it goes. Yay. Thank you. That one is 1, I believe. Yeah. Okay. Segment 2. Yeah. Okay. I'm ready to start again.
Okay. Do you want me to pick it up there when, or where do you want to pick it up, Dave?
Just the last line of your intro.
Okay, all right.
She had started.
Oh, I see. On the wrong, completely wrong. Yeah.
Okay, so I think I stopped it. People don't sell very often.
If you want to pick up there, that's fine.
No, I'll do it. The problem is I need to find.
Oh, you go to the sheet.
I think what I said was I was talking about, I forget what I was talking about.
throw them down on the floor. So it's down here with 15 other ones.
Richard just threw his sheet on the floor and he's trying to find the right one.
You
He
sound
thought
like
it
you
was
got a
done
cold
with
or something, DJ.
I went to I went to a concert last night, so I was hooting and hollering at Incubus.
Who was the concert?
Incubus, it was over at Widener Field, the Switchback
Oh,
Stadium.
cool.
Yeah.
We're going to see the B-52s.
Oh, that should be fun.
I'm excited. I told my son, he goes, "Who's that?"
Just go 15 miles to the Love Shack. You'll be all right.
Yeah, he just had no idea. So I'm like, you got to download it. I said, they're not really a great band.
No,
They're
they're
just
fun though. Yeah.
Oh, B-52s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I swear to God.
Where did you throw it?
I know. There's only...
There are 3 piles.
Yeah. This is the next pile, so it's not there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you look.
Okay.
See if you can find page. It'll be page 1. I apologize, Barb. What I do is I try to. Okay.
But you're so far off.
Let me go through these again. Right?
It's right there.
So it was there. Okay. All right.
We got ourselves sorted out now.
He's got better eyes than I do. Okay.
Not much.
I'll count it down right here. 3, 2, 1. Barb, the market has certainly changed in the last 12 months, causing some people to wonder if their homes will sell quickly and at a good price. Now, during the pre-show, you shared with me that you'd created a series of videos about the top 12 steps to sell a house. Tell us about that.
I did, and the reason I did that is that it's just not, you don't put your house on the market the same way you live in it day to day. You almost have to adopt what the model homes do and just make it very austere, put a lot of stuff away. It's okay to have a family picture here and there, but some people just like cover a whole entire wall with their life story. And it's distracting to a buyer. You want the buyer to come into your home and go, "Oh, I could see myself living here. I love it." That's the goal. And it is quite a large project, and it absolutely takes planning. And the home selling process, state to state, is different. The way each agent does it is different. And it has gotten a little bit more complicated. The contracts are kind of silly, but we try to make the process simple, smooth, and definitely without surprises. So when is a good time to meet with a realtor? I'd say step number 1 is that. And that's part of what we do. There's a lot of people that invite us into their home to sit down and speak with them well ahead of when they're planning on making a move. And that's fine. I don't mind doing that because it kind of gives them sort of a checklist on where they need to go. Is there anything they need to get fixed or taken care of prior to going on the market? There are some people, they don't know if they're moving now. They don't know if they're moving a year from now, and that's okay. But in most cases, if you know you're going to sell, I'd say no less than 2 months prior when you plan to move, and preferably 3 to 6 is really good. That way you have time to prepare to get your home ready to collect top dollar, which is great. So before we meet, we're going to give you a call. We're going to ask you some questions. One of them is going to be, hey, tell me a little bit about your home. Have you done any improvements? We're going to find out what your goals are. We're going to find out what you think the home is worth. And then that way we can do our research and actually be ready for our in-home consultation. Now, what do we do in the in-home consultation? Well, that step involves taking a look at your home, getting a really good feel for it, and then we'll bring similar sales that are like your home and kind of give you a range of values. And then we'll also give you tips on what to do and what not to do to get your house ready for sale. I've done a whole series of videos on this, and a lot of people don't know. They worry about things that they probably shouldn't worry about. And so that's part of our expertise that we help you with. We'll also give you a really good idea on what a buyer would pay for your home in this market and how much you'll put in your pocket when it sells, best of all. And when we meet, we're going to take a really good look at your home. And then this is a free service that we offer. And we'll give you kind of a list of our checklist of what we're going to do next if you decide to let us handle the sale. And if not, we will, give you other ideas and things on how to prepare. As an example, right now, the yards are beautiful. They're green. The flowers are in full bloom. Maybe you don't plan to move until next spring. Well, the problem with springtime is the yards don't get green until June, maybe. So if you let us take outside pictures, then we're ready to go for that. And if you'd like more information, you can go to barbhasthebuyers.com anytime or give us a call at 719-301-3900. The next step, if you want to move forward, is we have to sign a written agreement that lets us handle the sale. Now, the reason it has to be in writing, it's an exclusive right to handle the sale, is that we're going to spend a fair amount of time and money on your home. And we want to make sure that, the whole process is going forward. We're going to share with you our 16 key marketing systems. We're going to help you decide what is the best price to get you top dollar and get written permission to find a buyer for your home. Some sellers really worry about signing long-term contracts, but we provide a series of satisfaction guarantees, because if we don't perform as agreed, you can cancel, no cost or obligation. And then we'll build out a schedule. To help you prepare your home for sale, help you get ready for photo day. And then once we start marketing, we'll start really putting it out to our buyers in waiting. We have what we call a what happens next checklist. And this checklist goes step by step on what you can expect, so you can plan on it. We also will execute our certified pre-owned home program. And it's basically a system of pre-inspection and preparation from our trusted professionals, so that going into it, when you go on the market, you have certainty that your home is going to sell, and you have certainty that your home is going to sell and everything's going to go through in a smooth and on-time manner. And I know I've talked about this 1,000 times, Richard, but there's no license to be a home inspector. So you never know what you're going to get. Just last week, I had a home seller so frustrated because the inspector shows up with a team of people. The agent shows up with his buyer. And the first thing the inspector did was ask the seller to leave his home. How would you feel about that?
I would feel very uncomfortable. I'd be offended, first of all, but I'd feel very, very uncomfortable leaving my home in the hands of anyone other than you.
Right. And why do you have to leave? What are they going to hide? What is the big deal? So it's first of all, it's your home. You don't have to leave. And if you want to hover over that inspector while they're doing their inspection, please do. I think you should. I've seen some crazy things take place. I have seen inspectors stick their foot through the ceiling of drywall because they missed their step when they were up in the attic. I've had them pull toilets and rip vinyl. I've had them rip the flange that holds onto the toilet. I've had them drain I've had them drain the well dry. I mean, they're not necessarily trained professionals because the state does not regulate inspectors. There's no license or criteria whatsoever to be an inspector. So we actually put some parameters in place. We will send out notification to the buyer's agent that you have to be there because it invalidates my insurance if you just let Joe Billy Bob inspector in your house for 3 hours. We also tell them if you have to pull a toilet to check out the sewer line, which they're doing quite frequently, you will bring in a licensed plumber that knows how to properly reseat the toilet, because we're not going to let some unlicensed inspector do that. Um, and sellers want certainty that that's going okay. So that's why we provide a pre-inspection up front with somebody that we trust. Step 6 is omnipresent marketing through multiple media channels. So what most agents do is some take professional photos, some use their smartphone. They put the pictures in the MLS and they hope and pray somebody else has a buyer, and then they ghost their clients if nothing's happening. First of all, the photos have to be top notch because we know a majority of the buyers are eliminating homes based on the online presentation. You want your home to be picked as a must-see property. So we have different ways that we do that. We also make sure we brief you, and I send out a series of videos. So because you're not going to remember the whole meeting the first time, there's a lot to talk about. So we'll kind of slowly send out a bunch of videos about what you can expect through the process so you don't have to remember all of this. And we'll let you know certain things happen, like home showing surprises. An agent may show up with no notice, or they book an appointment, you got everything ready to go, and then they don't show up. Or I've had agents actually let some random buyer that they don't know anything about, that they did not bring, piggyback on their showing and come in the house and steal stuff. So you got to really watch what these guys are doing. So I always tell you, protect your valuables, make sure everything's locked away. And the biggest frustration for me is a lot of these agents won't leave a business card. Business cards, you can get 1,000 of them for $39, but they're too cheap to buy business cards and go into somebody's occupied home and leave a card. I think it's very unprofessional. I think they do it all the time. And that's probably the number one complaint I get for showings besides, the no-shows. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I have been here in this market since 1996. So I've seen an awful lot. And I try to protect my sellers from the chaos and let them know, if I can't protect them from the chaos, that they know about it. So when it does happen, it's not a big surprise. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. My name is Barb Schlinker with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, and I'm the host of Your Real Estate Voice. And when we come back, we're going to just cover the rest of the valuable steps to selling your home. Richard?
Barb, we've been talking about the 12 steps in the house selling process. You put together these videos. So tell us about the rest of that process and what people should know.
Well, step 7 is a warranty. So why do we do warranties? You can get a home warranty for a reasonable price, less than $500. It will cover all of your major systems. So for sellers, it gives you that peace of mind. And for buyers, it takes away that buyer remorse. With our warranty, the buyers and the sellers can pick their own contractor. They don't have to use whoever the warranty company says that they can use. Step 8, and this is the happiest day, is when you accept an offer. Most home sellers are really happy when they've got an offer. At that point, the showings will stop, but they have the option to allow showings for a backup offer. And at that point, we're ordering title. The agents are ordering the inspection. Your home doesn't necessarily have to be show ready, but you want it kind of neat and tidy, just because there will be an appraiser typically that comes through. But you can start packing. Don't completely move yet, because sometimes the buyers walk away. But I would say within 2 weeks of closing is a good time to make sure that you're starting to pack and getting that process in play. Step 9, of course, is the home inspection. What I tell people to prepare for that is just make sure all of the systems are accessible to the inspector. The biggest issues we see typically are roof and sewer. We've had a lot of hail damage recently, so we're dealing with that, and it's solvable. Doesn't mean that everything has to be picked. It doesn't mean that everything has to be picked. Can't say that. It doesn't mean that everything has to be fixed prior to closing. We can actually just pay for those repairs at a closing if you've got a hail claim going on, and it can be done later. So it's not time to freak out, and we will be helping you through the process. The appraisal, if the buyer is getting a loan, is the next step. And basically, they're coming in to confirm that the home meets the loan guidelines and that the home is worth what the buyer agreed to pay. So typically we will provide similar sales to substantiate that. And a lot of times the appraisers actually want to know what improvements you've done. Can't talk today. They want to know what improvements you've done to the home so they can substantiate that sales price to the underwriter, which is the loan approval god. The next step is to prepare for your walkthrough and prepare for closing. So you're working on moving. The buyer comes in on their walkthrough at the very end, right before closing, and they're verifying that the inspection items and inclusions are there. And then we're also verifying that, that everything that you agreed upon has been complied with in the contract. It's not a re-inspection necessarily. It's just a last minute confirmation before closing. And of course, step 12 is the actual closing, which is a great day. Now, a lot of times I have my clients close early, just so that they can get their paperwork done and they can focus on moving. But when the buyer closes is when you can expect the funds to appear in your account within 24 hours. And we'll talk about what you need to bring to closing and how to prepare for that. So every step of the way is not just covered by my radio show. We do it with a series of videos and communication with you. So there are no surprises through the entire process, because we want happy clients, and we want them to refer their friends and family to us so we can grow our business and give back more to veterans' causes. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb is the host of the program. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about pricing the home right so it does not sit on the market. You don't want to miss that. There we go.
Sorry for all my stumbling and mumbling there, BJ.
You're fine. I wrote down each and every one.
Thank you. Your voice is gone. You must have liked that band.
I just like to have a good time.
Yeah, cool.
I'm assuming that's heavy metal, right? I've never listened to
Incubus, that they haven't had a hit since 97 or so.
Oh, is it a rock band?
Yeah.
Cool. I haven't heard of them.
All right.
Yeah, it was.
Have you ever listened to B-52s? You ought to give them a listen.
I have.
Sucking up to Barb as I say that. Isn't that where you're going to listen,
Yeah.
Barb? Yeah.
Yeah, B-52s in Vegas.
You know, it just a quick note, because I don't want to get us behind, but if you would have told me that bands of the caliber that they are, like that, Rod Stewart, guys from the Eagles, all these other people would have been doing, shows, continued shows at Vegas the way, the old timers, Dean Martin and those guys did it, I would have said, no, I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen, but it happens. And it's easy on the artists. They don't have to travel all over the country. It's great for you. You go to Vegas, you can gamble if you want, you can go to different shows if you want. But I did not see that coming, was my point.
Yeah, and I think it's probably easier, not as hard on them, all the traveling and stuff, but
exactly.
It's interesting to me, like the Rolling Stones, some of those are pushing the 80s, right?
Right.
They're still on the road. A lot of these old timers, like I remember, it was probably about, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago, ZZ Top was coming to town. And I told Max and his friends, we got to go. I'm getting tickets. We're going, because I don't know how long they're going to be alive.
Exactly.
They were big when I was 18,
yeah.
And so these guys are awesome. You're going to love it. And so we did. We got rained on, but it was really fun.
Where'd you see them at?
Is it Fiddler's Cove?
Fiddler's Green, yeah. I saw the Eagles there. It's amazing how many places there are these days. It seems like I ought to make a list of all the places I've seen concerts in Colorado Springs, Denver. Saw the Eagles at the World Arena, in fact.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, it sounded good. You were sitting right on top of them and didn't have to drive at all. Okay, yeah. I got a new clock. I've got new everything going on here. And I'll count us down in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the program, and this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, a lot of people look at those automated valuations like on Zillow, or they talk to their neighbors, ask about the price to determine what their home is worth, especially now that it's taking longer to sell a home. How does a home seller decide what price to set when they are selling their home?
Well, Richard, sometimes Zillow is right, and sometimes it's too low, and sometimes it's too high. So you don't know. And Zillow, I don't really think Zillow has their pulse on the trends when they put those Zestimates online. But we're in the trenches. We're doing it every day. We can really feel what's happening. And what's happening right now, especially in the Colorado Springs area, is that we're seeing price corrections happen very quickly. And if all of a sudden we were getting showings and now we're not, you know what that means? That means that there's fewer buyers to that are competing for homes, right? So let me say that another way. There are more homes for sellers to compete with and fewer buyers that have the ability to buy homes. And so therefore, with the rates going high like that, therefore, a lot of homes are sitting on the market with very few showings and no offers. And it's like they're getting stale. So I'm seeing probably 30-40% of the home sellers start to lower their price right now. That's a big number. And so the best way to price a home is to do what I call pricing realistically versus optimistically. You know, the traditional wisdom years ago, even in a buyer's market, you would price slightly high for quote negotiating room, but that does not work anymore. If you're priced high, buyers just aren't going to come see your home. It's just that simple. And if you price it too high, the market's going to tell you right away. Fewer buyers are going to want to come see it because they're looking online. And if they can find better choices, they're not even going to be bothered to go see your home. But if you price it right, you're going to get more showings and more offers. I've got one that I'm working right now. It's a lower priced home. And we've had problems with the inspection. It's an estate sale. It needs some work, a lot of work. Some of the work the seller's not willing to do. And the buyers initially say, oh, it's okay, I'll take it as is. And then they dive deep into it and change their mind and go, no, unless you fix all these things, I'm not closing. So they're at a price right now where they're consistently getting, so we've had 2 deals blow up, but we're still getting offers. So that tells me that they're priced right, okay? And we're going to get a contract and it's going to close. But if you're not getting offers, you're not in the right price point. It's just that simple. And then sometimes you can use these automatic valuations and sometimes you just can't because they are not doing apples to apples. They're not comparing what can a buyer get. They might be looking at similar sales, but buyers care about what can they get in their price range. So if you go on websites like Realtor.com, there's this one section called Real Value, and it'll have 3 different automated valuations. And you can put your address in there, and you will see a big, wide range of values, anywhere from $40,000 to $100,000 difference. And just so you know, companies like Zillow and Open Door, they lost $1 billion betting on their automated valuations. So they're not a good resource either. You really need to work with an agent that's out there selling in the market all the time. They're going to know what's going on. And some people naturally try to squeeze more money out of their home. Everybody wants the most money. I mean, that's of course logical when they're selling, right? But at the end of the day, the home is going to sell for whatever the right buyer is willing to pay. And so there are some people go, well, I put this much in, or my neighbor's house sold for X. It doesn't matter. Every house is different. And even if you look backwards just a few months ago, we're seeing this a lot. Like when we sat down and priced a home, We said, oh, this looks like a good price for the home. And a couple weeks later, crickets. Nobody's coming to see it. We had to make a price correction. That's how quick this market is moving right now. And so the best way to do it is to be the best available home in your $50,000 increment. And just so you know, I went to appraiser school and passed. I thought it was boring to be an appraiser. It wasn't. I'm not in that. I'm not wired to do that kind of detail work. Bless their hearts. I know they work very hard, but it's just not something I want to do. But I know what they do. Okay. They look at similar sales. Similar means same floor plan sold in the same neighborhood within the last 6 to 12 months. They can make adjustments for square footage, bedrooms, baths, garage spaces, that kind of thing. But even an appraisal, like I've had some people get an appraisal and go, well, I priced my home at the appraised amount, and it's not selling. This is people that hired other agents. So I finally just asked them, and I know this is a little bit brutal, but I said, did the appraiser make that offer for your home? Did they offer to buy your home at that price? And the answer is going to be no. So obviously, if you priced it there and that's not what you're getting, then the appraiser isn't correct either, as far as what the market's willing to pay. Does that make sense, Richard?
It does, yeah, especially coming from you because you're able to take some of this stuff a little bit complicated and make it easier to understand. Yeah.
But the best way to figure it out is if you go on the market's going to tell you right off the bat if we didn't hit the target. If you're getting no showings or very few showings, you're way off, 5, 6, maybe even more percentage points. If you're getting some showings and no offers, then you're probably 3 to 5%. It's a big number in some of these prices. And if you're getting offers, you're probably close to being on target. But if you're not getting the offers you want, you're just a little bit off. And I saw that play out in a few homes this past summer where we were getting offers, but they were stupid lowball offers, right? So that tells me that we've got it priced close to being right, but maybe not exactly. And sometimes you can just make a move of 1%. It's enough to get the right buyer to pay full price. And in general, according to the National Association of Realtors, if you price a home too high and slowly walk the price down, you're going to net less money. It's not the right answer. You need to be priced. The best case scenario is to be priced very, very realistically within the first 10 to 30 days on the market. Otherwise, it's going to get stale and buyers are going to pass it by. My name is Barb Schlinker. I am the host of Your Real Estate Voice. I've been here selling real estate since 1996. So I've seen a few things, and I'm not one of those 30 sales in 30 years type agents. I've sold thousands of homes. We're selling hundreds every year. So I know what I'm doing. I know what's going on in the market right now. I'm not trying to tell you, things that I don't know, of course. And so what we're talking about is right now, how to price a home to get the most money. And later on, we're going to talk about the things that you can do to really command the most money. So if you are thinking of making a move and you'd like to get a free in-home consultation on what to do and what not to do to get your house ready for sale, we'll also look at all the similar sales to give you a really good idea on where to price your home to command top dollar. And then we'll also go over all the closing costs so you know exactly how much you'll put in your pocket when it sells. Give me a call. My name is Barb Schlinker. You can call me at 719-301-3900, or you can go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard, I put a house on the market just a week, actually it was 2 weeks ago, and we activated the listing. We had a good turnout at the open house. We got a contract right away. So obviously it was priced right. That buyer wants to close really, really fast, and it's in great condition, and he did everything right. He priced it realistically. We got it prepared for sale so it looked beautiful, and we were able to get it sold in just a few days at $5,000 over asking price. So if you're getting over asking price right now, we've hit the mark. And generally, if you price it just right, whether it's a pretty home or not a pretty home, it's going to sell. If it takes less than the average days, it means that you've done the right thing and you priced it right. Right now, the average days on market for the Colorado Springs area is probably about I predict in September it's going to go up to about 35 days. In the Denver area, it's far less than that. But generally, we're selling homes 3 times faster. And right now, don't be surprised if the buyers are asking you to pay some of your closing cost. And Richard, we're going to talk about that when we come up next.
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. She's the host of the program, and you can listen to replays of the show anytime on all of the major podcasts, as well as Barb's YouTube channel, Barb Schlinker. And if you're thinking of making a move, of course, call Barb at 719 301 3900. Barb, what are some of the other magic bullets on pricing, and what brings value to a home?
Well, I mean, I think the things that bring value are is pretty simple. It is preparation. In other words, most buyers, according to National Association of Realtors, 40 plus percentage of the buyers are going to turn their nose up at homes that need work. That includes the cosmetic stuff in general, flooring, broken appliances, curb appeal, all the things that are critical to get done up front. That is the best way to handle it because buyers want to just move in, drop their stuff, and get on with their lives. They typically don't want to rehab homes, right? And if they do, it has to be priced appropriately, well below market value. And right now, a lot of buyers are asking the seller to pay some of their loan closing costs. So they're coming in maybe at full price and saying, "Hey, seller, will you pay 10,000 of my loan closing costs?" Well, that's a big number, don't you think, Richard?
I think it's a very big number, and especially if it comes as a surprise and they don't have someone representing them like you are who can give them a heads up that this just might happen.
Right, it might happen. And the reason it's happening, especially for the resale homes, is these buyers need to have to pay their mortgage interest rate down to make it affordable for them. But we can go up in price. We can negotiate that. And so don't worry too much about that. And if you price it just right, the buyers are going to come and they're going to pay full asking price. I do it again and again, even in this market that's shifting. I just sold a home last week from a young couple in Briargate. They ended up getting 10,000 over asking price because they did everything right. It's still happening, but you have to make sure that you follow the system. And if pricing too low is usually not a problem because it's going to end up selling for market value in that case. Or if it needs work, there'll be some people that will make an even lower offer. What I find the secret sauce for pricing is to price it what I call on the low side right now because we're in a seasonal change, realistically versus optimistically. And that's part of the services that we give to our clients. We do a careful evaluation of similar sales. We give them tips on what to do, what not to do. We compare apples to apples so they know exactly how much they're going to put in their pocket when it sells. So if you want to make a move, give us a call at 719 301 3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. And if you're not ready right now, it's okay. Go to barbhasthebuyers.com. We've got some great free reports. One of them is entitled How to Get the Price You Want and Need. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker on Your Real Estate Voice. Barb is your real estate voice, and she is behind Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, the owner and the broker. And if you're thinking of selling your home and want to get the very most amount of money when you sell, call Barb at 719 301 3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. A short break. When we come back, what to do if you want to buy a home, but you have a house to sell first. Plus, Barb's hot new listings. You don't want to miss them. All right. I
can't believe I said that. 30 sales in 30 years. Was that rude?
Well, no, it's true. You know what? And I tell this to people. Well, I say it a lot when I'm doing, the live reads and stuff. I mentioned not a lot. It's like every now and then, I should say. But I'll remind people that, during COVID, there were a certain number of people who thought, well, I might as well get my real estate license while I'm doing this. Or, people, how do you, because I'm always asking people. So, if you're going to sell your home or whatever, how are you going to decide? And you're right. There are so many people who say, well, I know somebody. As
Yeah,
soon as I hear that, I try to make sure that I'm not insulting whoever they know because it might be their nephew or God knows what. But I tell them some of those things that you say to ask first. How many times have you done this? How long have you had your license? How many homes do you sell per year? And a couple, not many, but a couple of people have gotten back to me and said, you know what? I'm glad you told me to ask those questions because I was pretty surprised when I got the answers. And when I got the answers, I don't want my home to be, the learning pad for somebody else who's out there trying to figure it out. I
for
mean,
sure.
all right, I'll
Yeah,
be right
there's a lot
back.
of nice agents out there. All right, we'll have to crank through this one. I have to go off to a closing. I got 2 listing appointments, 2 closings, present an offer, and a pack.
Busy, busy lady.
Busy, busy. I'm ready whenever Richard is.
Yeah, he had to run and get his phone. He left it in the car, so
He's such a character.
he is. But we love him.
Yes. Some agent was trying to, negotiate with me over the weekend. And she goes, "Oh, I'll call you tomorrow," meaning Sunday. And my answer was,
No,
please.
no, thank you. Can I
Sunday's my one day where I can kind of clear my head and I watch air disasters and think about other things. And I'll still do work, but I don't want to go anywhere. Some guy, he had an accent. And he was like, "Well, don't you want to show your house and save your seller the commission?" I said, "Do you have an agent?" I said, I can't show you today. I'm sorry. He actually asked for the combo. I said, "Oh no,
Oh
that ain't
no,
happening."
no. Pick a different day. It's okay.
Yes. Sure, I'm just gonna let some random guy that doesn't speak English go into my client's empty house, who, by the way, is a sheriff.
Okay.
No, no way, Jose. Wasn't Jose. He sounded Chinese. I hope that doesn't go out on the air.
I'm not even recording right now.
Okay. But I was just like, man, thank you for asking. No.
We appreciate your consideration,
Yeah.
but you got your scripts.
I do. I've got a new clock. Okay, new clock here. What's that? Real quick. Got it. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb, most people are very concerned about which comes first. Sell first, then live in temporary housing, or buy first, then sell at your leisure. What are some solutions that we'll do the whole thing? 3, 2. Just where I pick it up after the intro. Barb, most people are very concerned about which comes first: sell first, then live in temporary housing, or buy first, then sell at your leisure. What are some solutions that you have, Barb, at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty to this catch 22?
Well, Richard, people want certainty that their house is going to sell. They want certainty that they're going to get the price that they want and need. They want certainty that everything's going to go smoother. They want certainty that everything's going to go smoothly. And they want certainty that the sale will go through once it's started. The other thing that I find a lot of people get stuck on is finding a destination. So they want to be certain they know where they're going. So I have met with some people that are like, until we find a destination, we're not moving. And they want to make sure they have enough funds and resources to improve their lifestyle when they do move. So all those come into play when somebody's making a move. And sellers, of course, want cash, and it is all cash to the sellers at closing. But at the end of the day, it depends. Like, we do have 64 high net worth cash buyers that will come in and pay cash for their home, but they're not paying full market value right now. They were a year and a half ago, but now that's not the case. The offers that we're seeing typically are about anywhere from 10 to 15% below current market value. So that may not be an option, but it might be for some people. They might be, hey, we don't care, we got to go, right? Some agents will basically inflate the price just to get you to sign on the dotted line. They'll go, oh, I can get you $1 million for your home, right? Or they'll say they might have a buyer, then they don't have a buyer. And then it sits there and it gets stale. And then they blame the other agents for having to walk the price down. That's not what you want. You don't want to price it unrealistically and have the house sit on the market and get stale. You want all the buyers to come out and go, oh my God, something new. I want this one. It's very, very nice. So it's really, really important that you pick the agent that, gives you all the facts. I mean, a lot of times agents will come in and meet with the seller and go, okay, this is what I think your house will sell for, without really going through the numbers and showing them what their competition looks like. They don't know how to do it. I've even had agents go meet with sellers and claim they're on my team. Can you believe that, Richard?
I remember when that happened. That was absolutely unbelievable and
Yeah.
certainly unethical.
He didn't say it just once, but multiple times. And actually, the client thought he signed with me. And so a couple of weeks later, he calls me and goes, hey, how come I'm not getting any buyers of yours? I'm like, well, who are you? He goes, well, I signed with you. And I'm like, I had to tell him the truth. And he was really upset and pretty shocked. So how does a seller know that they're going to have that certainty? First of all, you want to hire the team that guarantees the sale. Hire the team that knows how to get them top dollar. Hire the team that offers the least amount of hassle, and hires the team that makes sure you have a smooth on-time closing. Not every agent knows how to do that. And really the biggest dilemma for most home sellers is having a house to sell. What do I do? Because I have to sell this first before I buy my next home. Now, if you have a paid for home, you have a little bit more options, but most people can't qualify for 2 house payments. And a lot of times when you go to make an offer on your next home, if it's contingent on your home selling and your home is not under contract, most sellers are like, nah, it's too much uncertainty there. I'm not going to accept your offer, right? Now, if your home is under contract, then you could probably work it out. You couldn't do it during the boom, but I'd say you can now. And I've had some agents, try to play a game and leave out all the facts. So I ask questions whenever we get offers on our listings where they're saying, okay, it's contingent on the home selling and it's under contract. Okay, great. Send me that contract. I want to look at it. I want to make sure that their buyer doesn't also have a house to sell and there's not this big gaggle of problems to work out. You want to make sure you hire a team that has your back. So it's okay to trust people, but verify what they have. You can't always rely on the lender letters that you get when you get offers either. I've actually had this happen last year where we got this offer. The seller really wanted the offer because he met the buyer. It all seemed really good, but it was on a weekend. I usually prefer to spend some time to be able to talk to the lender to make sure they can perform. But in this case, I did pick up the phone and call the lender, and by some miracle, I got the lender on the phone. And I said, I have a question about this offer because it seems like they should have a down payment, but it's only $1,000. Is he getting down payment assistance? And just so you know, this lender letter was very well written. It said, we're pre-approved, we're already approved through underwriting. They've got good assets, good income. I've verified everything. We're good to go. But it left one thing off, which is what the lender told me on the phone. They had to sell a house in order to buy their next home. So when I asked him if they're getting down payment assistance, he goes, no, but they have a house to sell, but I'm sure it's already sold by now for sure. So I looked it up. I got the address. I looked it up. And sure enough, it just hit the market that day. So basically, the lender's plan was to, or the agent's plan was to not tell me they had a house to sell and just kind of hope that everything worked out, you know? So when I found that out, I went back to the seller and said, hey, we got a problem here. I was just about to hit send on the counter proposal that was already written and drafted. But I waited and I called the seller back and said, hey, I want to make sure you know this before we move forward, because we had two other offers that were pretty good too. I said, do you want to wait for this buyer to sell a home that they didn't tell us about? And the answer was, no, we can't wait for that. So we ended up pivoting to a different buyer. But you want an agent that really has your back and that checks things. You can't wholly put your trust in what other people say or even what they put in these quote pre-approval letters. But you can work with some good lenders. I know the good lenders in town and the ones that I trust and the ones that I just don't know. There are some people that can purchase their next home without selling their existing home, which is great, especially if it's fully paid off. You can actually pull home equity out and make a down payment at the very least on your next home and then sell your existing home later. That's a very comfortable process to go through if you're in that financial situation. But if you have to sell prior to buying your next home, you want to make sure that every I is dotted, every T is crossed, that everything goes, in a smooth manner. So one option is to accept a cash offer. That will get you done. You might net a little bit less money, but then you don't have to worry about that and you can buy your next home first. Or you could tap into our 27,441 buyers in waiting, and we'll market to those people. Many of these people are willing to pay 100% of market value for your home, and that way you get the most money. And I would say that's probably what a majority of the buyers or the home sellers choose to do, is to get top dollar for their home. And that's perfectly fine. That's what we want. But the way we do it is a little bit different than what you would expect. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I have been here in real estate since the 1990s. I'm also the host of Your Real Estate Voice. And I specialize in helping home sellers and buyers get their next home. So if you are thinking of making a move and you want certainty of the sale of your home, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. You can tap into our buyers in waiting, and typically we can find 100 that are a really high match for your home. And if you're not ready to sell right now, it's okay, no problem. Go to barbhasthebuyers.com anyway. We've got a lot of great free reports that you could download for free. One of them is called the Top Tips to Sell Your Home Fast and for Top Dollar. That's just one of very, very many. But if you would like that free in-home consultation, call us at 719-301-3900, and we would love to help you. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb, we've gone from nearly all homes selling for a premium price to homes sitting longer on the market, some homes not selling at all. How do you give home sellers certainty when it comes to sale?
Well, Richard, part of what we do, besides helping them set them up for success, but we also offer guarantees. We offer communication guarantee, honest promises guarantee, reality-based price range guarantee, reality-based timetable guarantee, honest presentation and track record guarantee, and a qualified buyer's guarantee. Most people want qualified buyers when they sell their home, and that's part of what we make sure of prior to you committing to selling your home. And if we don't perform on those things, you get a discount. Richard?
We're going to be talking about hot new listings. We need to do this as the lightning round. Barb, tell us about them.
Well, I have an adorable starter home over by the Olympic Center on Swope. Really cute 2-bedroom with fresh carpet, under 250. A very cute rancher down at Fountain at 290. We've got an amazing starter home up in Woodland Park at 389 on Full View. We've got a really big, gorgeous home that's on double lots on 1235 Half Circle in the low fours. Coming up actually this weekend is a gorgeous home on 18555 Ranch Hand. This home is on 5 acres and it is amazing. It's been completely remodeled. It's a raised ranch. It has a detached, oversized 3-car garage, a chicken house, a garden. It is just stunning, stunning property. And then we have a great starter home on 6034 Oakwood Boulevard, under 400,000, a beautiful rancher, almost 3,400 square feet with all kinds of gorgeous hickory floors and granite counters, priced in the low fives. A fantastic 2-story with a main level master over in Ridgeview, Stetson Hills at 475 with a 3-car garage, 6161 Chivalry Drive. A great home on 1880 West Escalante Court in Pueblo West, priced at $395. A really cool home on Rock Creek Mesa down 115 on 2 acres. And then 2 homes in one, 518 East Bijou Street. This home has a big main house and then a second home that's rented out. So my ad for that is live rent free, and that way you can get some of your mortgage payment covered. We also have a beautiful home on the west side on 7220 Native Circle in the low fives, and a spectacular, gorgeous Victorian style home built in the 90s on 5 acres in the School District 20 at 899 on Rocky Heights, and then an unbelievable home on 35 acres up in Florissant at 2.5 million. So if you want to find out about all of our homes, our coming soon homes, our open houses, go to barbhasthebuyers.com or call us at 719-301-3900. Richard?
You've been listening to Your Real Estate Voice, airs every Saturday. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. And remember, you can see replays of the show on Barb's YouTube channel, Barb Schlinker, or listen to the entire podcast on all of the popular platforms, Apple, iHeartRadio, Spotify, many, many others. Thank you for listening this weekend. And to reach out to Barb, call 719-301-3900. Thanks for listening. Have a great week. Thank you, Barb.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
And did we get you out of here on time? No, we need
No, we're good. I got